So this conservative Christian guy made a response to my video on Pascal's wager, and he did a really bad job. So let's break it down. For whom there is no evidence, or at least for whom there is grossly
Where to begin? I've had to remake this like 3 times because I want to keep this brief. Now you can hear I'm talking fast because I have a lot to say in a very short period of time. So I will keep this much briefer than your video. I'm still didn't watch all of your video, by the way. It was too long, so.
Okay, first things first. Before we even get into the substance of the video, there are so many things to address here. First of all, what the fuck did you just say?
Now you can hear I'm talking fast because I have a lot to say in a very short period of time. So I will keep this much briefer than your video. I'm still didn't watch all of your video, by the way.
I'm not joking. I had to watch that so many times to try to figure out what you were saying.
So I'm still didn't watch all of your video, by the way. I'm still didn't watch all of your.
You said at the beginning of the video that you had to remake this 3 times. I think you might have needed another take, champ. But yeah, after watching it genuinely like 15 times, I think I deciphered what he was trying to say. I think he's saying, and now you can hear I'm talking faster because I have a lot to say in a short amount of time, but I'm going to keep my video briefer than you kept yours, and I didn't watch all of your video because it was too long. I'm pretty sure that's what he says. Not a great sign that right out of the gate, you're just openly admitting that I used too many big words and my argument was too in-depth for you to pay attention to it, synthesize it, and understand it. And the last thing I just gotta get off my chest before we actually get into the substance of your argument is, why are you driving? Why are so many conservative Christian people driving when they make response videos to me? Don't do that. Just pull over, find somewhere to park. I've made videos from my car before, but never while I'm actively navigating traffic on the freeway. But whatever, let's get into your argument.
Atheists do this thing, and it's so annoying to anyone outside of atheism who's thought deeply about any kind of spirituality or anything deeply at all, frankly. But the idea of atheism, which must be separated from agnosticism, is that there is affirmatively no creator.
Okay, immediately, you are wrong. Atheism is not an affirmative belief in the lack of a supernatural creator for the universe. Atheism is a lack of belief in a supernatural creator for the universe. I don't believe that there is no God or have faith that there is no God. I have the absence of those things, the absence of belief, the absence of faith.
Atheism purports that nothing created all of this. This just happens to be here, which, by the way, is the belief in a miracle.
That is the literal definition of a straw man fallacy. You are just inventing an argument that no atheist is actually making and contending with that argument instead of contending with our actual positions. For instance, I did not say anywhere in the video that you did not watch that nothing created the universe, that this all just happens to be here. You would know that I didn't say that if you had actually bothered to watch the video that you're responding to. Most atheists accept the scientific consensus that the universe is around 13.8 billion years old, give or take. At some point in time, around 13.8 billion years ago, there was a singularity, everything was one thing, and then a rapid mass expansion began. This is the process of entropy, things moving from order to disorder. No atheist claims an affirmative belief that they know what existed or happened before that singularity. And right now you're confused. You're thinking, no, that's agnosticism. Saying I don't know, that's agnosticism. No, an agnostic would say, I don't know, therefore I accept all hypotheses as being equally possible, equally viable, equally rational and reasonable to believe in. Atheists have lots of different theories of what could have happened before the singularity. Maybe the universe is just an ever expanding and contracting thing and we're just living in the space between expansion and contraction. I don't know, but I don't believe a magic guy did it. That's what you think. You think that a magic space wizard just kind of went blah, and just made all of it. Your answer to the question, why is there something instead of nothing, is a magic guy did it.
Atheism is actually firmly on the side of no, there is no creator. And so then the burden of proof is on them.
No, that's not how the burden of proof works, unfortunately. The burden of proof is not on me to prove that a truth claim you are making for which there is no evidence is not true. I see no observable evidence for the existence of leprechauns. You claim there is evidence for the existence of leprechauns. The burden of proof is therefore on you to make your case.
When you hear an atheist say, oh, there's no evidence for creationism, you kind of realize that, oh, this person has not thought deeply about any of this.
Okay, where to start here? The vast majority of atheists used to be theists. We used to be you. We're not atheists because we haven't thought deeply enough about creationism and theism. We were raised by creationists, raised by theists. We were raised with your ideology. We are atheists specifically because we thought so hard about it, we realized how ridiculous and preposterous it is. And you haven't gotten to where I am. I can accurately describe your beliefs because I used to have them. You can't describe my beliefs. You can't even watch one of my videos all the way through. For a long time, theists believed that the age of the world was 6,000 years old, that everything that is in the known universe was just 6,000 years old. And then science came along and went, actually, all of these celestial objects are expanding and we can use math to reverse engineer the rate of their expansion and bring it all back to one point, and we can calculate how long that would have taken, and it's around 13.8 billion years. And then every observable metric of data that we can look at, everything on Earth that we can look at geologically and anthropologically and date through modern carbon dating seems to back that up, that the universe is about 13.8 billion years old and the Earth is just about 4.5 billion years old. And humanity, by the way, has only been around for about 300,000 years of those 4.5 billion. So if your magic space wizard created all of this for us, why the fuck did we just get here in the last like this much of time in the whole history of the universe? Be honest, you've never actually thought about any of this, have you? And that's what I mean when I say you are the one who has not thought deeply enough about what it is you believe.
There's actually overwhelming evidence for creationism. They've never considered where like morals and ethics come from, or like the hierarchy of man, or the laws of logic, or math, or like just so many things that exist in reality.
That's your case? That's your evidence? Wow, fucking terrible case, dude. Just culturally accepted norms about morality, the laws of logic, mathematics, those are evidence for creationism? No, they fucking are not. And if you actually understood logic or math, you would know that. Like, you're literally going, there's actually so much evidence for the existence of Santa Claus. If Santa Claus doesn't exist, how do you explain Christmas cheer? That warm feeling you get when you're around your loved ones at the holidays? If Santa Claus isn't real, then what's that?
And even if you believe they were creations of our mind, where did our mind come from? It's just shallow, depthless thinking.
No, shallow, depthless thinking is saying, where did my mind come from? If you can't answer that question, that means it must be a magic space guy. It doesn't get much more shallow or depthless than that, saying, you can't tell me where the human mind comes from, what the substance of the human mind is, therefore it's magic space wizard. It's magic space guy that made my mind. It doesn't get much more shallow than that.
But what I will tell you is that, maybe you haven't thought about all your opinions all the way through either. Maybe you believe in some crazy miracle, like all of this came from nothing. Perhaps.
But I don't. I don't believe that, dude. So, bad video, bad job. I hated every second of this, and please stop driving while you're making these videos. There are other drivers out on the road who have working brains who don't deserve to die because you lack basic critical thinking skills. I'm just a mediocre white guy with a mustache. I probably have nothing if it weren't for the mustache. It'd just be